Hi, it's Hans Lysglimt. It's August 9th, 2011. And fellow dear Ron Paul supporters, I have not been as active this time around in this campaign as I was in the last campaign. And I wanted to say something about that and some thoughts about Ron Paul and what he has achieved and what he can achieve and what the sort of supporter community can achieve. And first of all, I want to just attack this question about the presidency and being presidential. For me, the Ron Paul campaign and his candidacies has never really been about the presidency and any real chance of having him elected as the president of the United States. That chance was always so far-fetched and so far away that was not the main reason why we did it. We had a message, and it's a way to get the message out. And in that respect, the last Ron Paul campaign in 2008 was tremendously successful. Tremendously. I'm so proud of what you all did and what I participated in and what we have achieved. Because now, in this time around, in 2012, we are taken seriously. And Ron Paul's perspectives are taken seriously. What he says is taken seriously. And it has influenced other politicians, whoever may become the president. And of course, the Ron Paul campaign inspired the Tea Party movement. The Tea Party movement has since sort of transformed into something I don't quite like anymore. I can't be that enthusiastic about it because there's so many weird elements and so many people sort of jumping on the bandwagon with their agendas of American supremacy and bullying people in other countries and lots of all that. But the Ron Paul campaign was really what started the Tea Party and what got sort of the movement going with the objections to the federal government, with the objections to what the mega massive state is doing, objection to the how the finances are run, to the deficits, to the monetary policy, to the Federal Reserve and the Fed, to the dollar and the dollar as opposed to the gold standard. So all that came out of the Ron Paul campaign, the first Ron Paul campaign, and I'm so proud of that, so proud. When we're looking forward, of course, Ron Paul's message is being picked up, and it's a different reality now in 2012 than it was in 2008. And since Ron Paul's message has been picked up in so many other channels, and being discussed seriously and taken up in the open, you can, in one perspective, you can say that Ron Paul himself and the campaign and everything around it is, if not less important, then at least it plays a different role, because a lot of the things that we wanted to get out there are now out there, although in very sort of skewed forms and twisted around, and all people's kinds of agendas and things have twisted it. It's at least it's out there, and the discussion today is much more close to what we wanted back in 2008. In 2008, we didn't even reach out in media, and we were kind of neglected and ignored. Now these things are being discussed in the open, and the financial crisis, the sort of the second wave of the financial crisis that we've had in the last few days, is just a manifestation of that. So I have a little bit of a hard time being too sort of enthusiastic about pushing Ron Paul with videos on a daily basis here, trying to persuade anyone to imagine that Ron Paul can actually be nominated by the Republican Party and then actually be elected as president. That's probably not going to happen. So it's the message and getting the message out. And what is the message and how do we do that? Of course, we have to ride this wave now. I really hope that Ron Paul will not announce that he's sort of quitting anytime soon. He did that in the last campaign, where he said that the campaign would soon wind down. I think he said that in March. And we could have had massive impact after that, but he sort of let out the air of this momentum we had. And he probably had his reasons for doing that, so that's fine. But this time around, we need to be more thoughtful about this. And I've been very happy to see what's been going on, and the results we had from the last campaign, to see that things have picked up in the debate in the US. But also, we have to be somewhat realistic in order to come with some good input for this long term. I mean, the US and the Western countries of Europe are on a trajectory that is very negative when it comes to state finances, when it comes to individual liberty, when it comes to sort of the general ideas that people hold. And the way I can describe it is that we left the gold standard when it comes to money, because we left the dollar's connection to gold. But we also left the gold standard when it comes to art, to music, to ethics, to literature, to people, to politicians, to professionals. I mean, there used to be a gold standard. What was precious, valuable, what was right, what was good, what was the gold. And it's not like everything is equal and everything is good, and modern art is as good as classical fine art, and modern rap music is just as good as Mozart, and all people are just as good as everyone else, and all professionals and everything is fine. It's not like that. And we have to get back to the gold standards. What are the gold standards for everything? And that's our long-term objective, to identify the gold standards, and to nourish that, to really make the gold standards flourish. Because today, all the problems that we see are really based on leaving the gold standard. Leaving the gold standard for money, leaving the gold standard for art, for music, for everything. So that should be our long-term objective. And of course, everyone who is profiting from non-gold standard things, everyone, the artists that are doing modern art, the rap artists, the teachers that are teaching bad, the professionals that are teaching bad, and everything that is not gold standard will be against this. So it's a tremendous task. But what we have on our side, of course, is reality, and reality will catch up eventually with everything that is not gold standard. So what we will see probably in our lifetime is a more or less of a collapse of society as we see it now. The state finances are the first sort of step of that, but lots of other things will come. There will be revolutions, there will be riots in the streets, there will be tremendous changes, because this cannot go on. I hope that this can be done peacefully and over time, and there will be a change, somewhat hopefully within the framework of the peace that we've had since the end of the Second World War, that we were able to sort of change it back again. And we have to influence that by serious values. What is good? What is right? What is the gold standard? What is the gold standard for all these kinds of aspects? And discuss that and to get that out. Because just sort of the political discourse that is being done today, and trying to influence that by the Tea Party, or getting our candidate nominated by the GOP, the Republican Party, or even getting a new president. I mean, even if Ron Paul was elected the new president, he wouldn't be able to do much, because the system is so screwed up. We're trapped in these ideas. The whole system is trapped in perverse ideas. We have to work on the gold standard of ideas, and long-term input this into society, so that the whole society becomes something that wants to pursue these ideas, one way or the other. I'm not quite sure how this can be done, or maybe democracy is the root of this evil. And that has to be changed somehow. And these are very uncomfortable ideas, uncomfortable thoughts. because the consequences might be rather dramatic. I mean, everyone sees democracy as this great god that will, and we have to keep democracy for any price, and every change has to be done within that. But let's look at where that's led us. It has led us, however, to the richest society ever in humankind, and people are very free, and things are good. But the trajectory is negative now. Maybe we reach some kind of peak, and once we reach the bottom, I'm not sure that democracy is the right thing anymore. We might have to look for other solutions, and that might be very uncomfortable to explore the kind of solutions that need to come about. So these are the kind of ideas that I want to explore now long term. The debate from day to day and the presidential debate, and is more or less taking care of itself, and I'm happy that things are going well when it comes to getting the ideas out there, getting Ron Paul in the debates, and having others sort of pick up on his ideas, and having more populistic organizations like the Tea Party phenomenons push the ideas. But that's just very contemporary. That's just very in the now. Long term, we need other solutions. We need a much more profound debate, a much more deeper debate. And I think we in the Ron Paul movement are the right people to initiate that debate, to think long term, because we will be around after this election and the next election. And I was in the 2008 campaign, I'm in the 2012 campaign, but we'll be here 2016, we'll be here 2020, 2024, 2028. So this is a long term fight that we need to engage in. And these problems of the state finances in the US and in Europe, and the problems of different groups in society, these fights, these generational fights, this will not pass. I mean, in 2012, in November, or in 2013, no matter who we would elect as the president in the US next year, this would not go away. These are huge, fundamental, structural problems, and it's like an onion. And the election in 2012, the presidential election, is just the first layer of the onion. And then you have other layers of the political structure, then you have other layers of the sort of the secret power structures, and the corporate structures, and the industrial military complex. And then you have even deeper structures with the school system in the Western world, and the ideas of equality and everything being equal and just as well and just as good. And underneath there you have ideas of the modern ideas of most Western countries being Christian, and the Christian values, and all that. And we have to peel away in this onion and come to the core here and start building it up again, in preparation of building a new society later on, a good society where values, where gold standards are the game. So this is a huge task, and I have been somewhat reluctant to enter into the day-to-day debate, because I've been thinking about these huge tasks and what's coming there. Please join me in this debate going forward. Thanks.